Good morning, everybody, and a bright good morning to you from the JN Sports Complex here in New Delhi on the fourth day of competition in the Lawn Bowls tournament. Coming up, we have a men's pairs clash between Botswana and Australia here on Green 2 on what is a rather overcast and rather close morning here close to the Athletic Stadium at this complex. Very quiet start to the day. Temperatures at around 27 degrees at the moment. Humidity 88%, possibly creeping up a little bit. It's going to be a sweaty one. And precious little wind speed at all, which has very much been the case throughout the tournament so far. Well, this first match this morning on all known form should go the way of the Australians. They have been playing extremely well in this men's pairs series so far. We're coming towards the end of the sectional play. Let's just see what we've got for you later on. Also in the men's pairs, Group B, Wales versus India, and also after that a women's pairs clash, Group B clash there between Malaysia and England. That could be a very strong contest indeed. And one more, Nui Island, who have been playing very well during the tournament, and Scotland. They will meet later on in the day. The players here for this Botswana and Australia match are just warming up, throwing down a few trial bowls. And so far in this section, Australia have won all 5 of their matches. They're not quite top of the table. South Africa having superior shot difference. And Botswana are struggling a bit. Aaron Sheriff is one of the Australian team, and here for Botswana, who we saw playing the other day, and they are just struggling a little bit to make much of an impact. 5 games so far, and they have lost all 5. They've won a couple of sets along the way, but unable to follow up with a second set victory in any match so far. The Australians represent very powerful team here. Aaron Sheriff and Mark Berghofer. That's Mark there. And so far they have garnered 10 points and have won 8.5 sets, and are currently in second place in the table behind South Africa. There goes the siren, which will signal the start of play imminently. I'm Simon Holt. I'm joined by Mike Rabbit. Yeah, Mike Rabbit's with me this morning. How are you today, Mike?
Hi, Simon. Very good, thank you. And as you can see, for those in Australia would kind of recognise this sort of atmosphere. It looks like bushfire smoke that's come in around the stadium. There was a little bit of a fire somewhere last night. We heard a lot of sirens and saw some red lights flashing, but it really is very close, as you mentioned, and this should be a very, very good match between Botswana and Australia. Simon has already indicated some of the results that have taken place, and we'll bring you up to date with those in just a moment. Simon, as you mentioned, Australia and South Africa dominating this Section A. There's 12 teams in Section A and there's 12 teams in Section B. South Africa haven't dropped a set yet. Australia have dropped a couple of sets, or in actual fact have had a draw in one. But they're on a plus 71 shot differential, where South Africa are on a plus 68. Now, both those teams are on maximum 10 points. There are 2 teams, Scotland and Papua New Guinea, surprisingly, who are on 8 points. And Australia will meet Papua New Guinea a little bit later on today. And South Africa also have Papua New Guinea and also Kenya to round out their campaign today. Botswana yesterday lost to the Cook Islands, but it was a classic match. They shared the sets. They went down 11-7 in the first set, won the second set 23, but then lost 3-1 in the tie-break. And, of course, if the teams share the sets, it goes to a 3-end tie-break where the shots are cumulative. It's not the best of 3 ends. It's the shot, they'll play the 3 ends. But in this scenario, Simon, I don't think that will happen. Australia will start very, very short price favourites. Young Aaron Sheriff, the skip, they're only 24 years of age. Mark Berghofer is only 25 years of age, so a very youthful combination, and they don't have too much fear in the place of world bowls.
Yes, Botswana would have to produce a stunning performance, one would have thought, here to beat the Australians. Though that was a good early delivery from Bona Motladili.
He's a big man, and this sapping heat here in New Delhi certainly is going to take its toll later on in the tournament. But at the same time, we had Botswana, or we actually commentated on Botswana-Scotland, which is the first match that we did in this tournament on Monday. And he had a very deft touch for a big chap.
Just last night, the Botswanan women players were out, a triples match, and they gave us a lot of entertainment on this rink. Ultimately, just failing to take Scotland to a tie-break, but they played with terrific spirit, really seemed to enjoy themselves.
Obi Motladili, he's got shot bowl at the moment. Mark Berghofer just taking a little time to settle with his opening 3 deliveries. Each player 3 bowls.
So the skip for Botswana, Remy Kebapetsi.
We're playing on a carpet surface, very fair on most occasions to the players, running about the 12-13 second mark. It seems to be a little sluggish in the mornings and then quickens up as the day goes on. This rink is a pretty true rink. This will be the medal rink when we get into the playoffs. Our other telecasts are coming from Rink 1, which does have a slight imperfection on the backhand side coming from the grandstand end. The bowls just straighten up a little bit, but this green seems to be, or this rink seems to be true. And with the carpet surface, certainly brings the lesser countries into play. Just overcooked that one a little bit, but nice grass.
Aaron Sheriff, very high quality player from Halikulani on the central coast of New South Wales. '57 appearances for Australia.
It's quite an amazing stat when you think here he's only 24 years of age and he's represented his country that many occasions. But he really did hit the scene as a 17, 18-year-old, mixing it with the big boys of Australian lawn bowls, and he's continued to develop as a player.
Did he just dip out of the team at one time, did I read?
Yeah, I think it might have. Here's a replay of that last bowl from Kebabetse. He's just turned it over. That's a couple of shots there to Australia. A little bit unfortunate there. Probably a little bit of an attitude adjustment. But he's full credit to him. He's fought his way back into the side and is a little bit of a fixture in the Australian side now, hence the 57 appearances. But a good opening here to Australia. A couple of shots. A little bit fortunate there to get away with it.
A quiet scene on this 4th morning here at the JN Sports Complex.
We haven't been inundated with crowds. Of course, lawn bowls in India are a relatively small sport, given the magnitude of some of the other sports, such as cricket here in India. Played very sparingly. Calcutta seems to be the base of lawn bowls, but this complex here has the potential for this game to explode in India, and their other teams are performing very, very well indeed. They're right in the mix in many of the competitions here at the Commonwealth Games, and this complex, 4 greens, just absolutely magnificent.
Just this morning, in fact, in the paper, the Commonwealth Games Organising Committee going to try and do something about the attendances, maybe giving passes to sports promoting institutes and some free entry for school and college students. Seemed to be a fair amount of atmosphere at the adjoining athletic stadium last night. There's some roars from over there. It's been quiet here though, and at some of the other venues as well, tennis and the badminton. So maybe they need to give a few incentives to get the local population to turn up. Though tickets for the closing ceremony, we don't really want to think about that at the moment, some way off. They're selling fast by all accounts, with the promise of another spectacular to match the opening ceremony.
Dilly, good bowl, just picking up the jack slightly, but it's still wide open. Mark Berghofer from the very, very strong St John's Park Club in Sydney. There's 2 clubs that tend to dominate Australian lawn bowls, and that's St John's Park and the Helensvale Club on the Gold Coast. And when you have a look through the Australian team here at the Commonwealth Games, the majority of players are from those 2 clubs. Yeah, 2 good bowls. Well, the 3 have actually passed the head, so he'd be pretty happy with that, even though he did disturb the jack slightly and push it to the side a bit. Needs a bit of a wick here, Mark Berghofer. It didn't happen.
Mark Berghofer, certainly the lightweight member of this group of players. Be a few stone in it.
Well, Aaron Sheriff, you just see on screen there, we'll come back to him in just a moment. Yes, Mark Berghofer is like a match with the wood shaved off. Aaron Sheriff had a bit of a training mishap. The Australian team went into camp for some whitewater rafting prior to coming to New Delhi, and he actually got tipped out of a raft and dislocated his shoulder. But obviously some very good medical attention, and the thought of competing in the Commonwealth Games hasn't deterred him. He's here and he's obviously playing very well at the moment.
I bet that pleased the coaches and the performance managers.
It was a bit of an unfortunate one. In New South Wales, there's been a little bit of history of pre-match camps. I know the rugby league team a couple of years ago decided to go horse riding in the Blue Mountains, and Robbie Kearns, who was the star front rower, fell off a horse, dislocated his shoulder and didn't play again for the rest of the season. So they are tempered a little bit now, these pre-tournament camps. A good bowl there from Aaron Sheriff, just leaving the 1.5 metre short, but has shot bowl. And plenty of room there for Kevo Betsy to draw the shot up is good enough, and for Aaron to reply.
I guess those kind of excursions are aimed at increasing team spirit, bit of bonding.
Yeah, I think specifically the face of lawn bowls, as we've spoken about a couple of times during our telecast at the Commonwealth Games, the face of lawn bowls has changed dramatically. They would have never thought about going into a pre-tournament camp in the old days. Why don't we go down to the local and discuss tactics there? But it really has changed. Aaron's bowl just slipping through. And I think that's testimony to when you have a look at the average age of some of these teams. The Australian average age of this team is younger than the Australian cricket team. It's quite an amazing stat when you have a look at it.
Yeah, that is.
biomechanics, nutritionists, all sorts of things. Very professional approach to the game these days. Now, he'd love just to kiss Aaron Sheriff's bowl out, which he did. It'll be a toss-up between those two bowls just below the jack as to who is shot bowl. Maybe Aaron Sheriff's bowl at about 3 o'clock from the jack as you have a look at it there. At 9 o'clock, I should say. This might take any guesswork out of it, and it has. A lovely bowl indeed.
That's the clear shot to Australia.
He's having a look at that one. We might go for an early measure as Aaron Sheriff. We watched the replay there, just coming in. He would have liked another 2 or 3 inches on that, but he's done enough to be able to grab the shot. Mark Berghofer now just having the measure. And up go the fingers. 2 shots to Australia. So it's a very, very good start to the green and gold of the boys from down under.
And both of the Aussie players took part in the Delhi 8-Nation Test event back in April. Mark Berghofer got a bronze medal there, and Aaron Sheriff a silver. As you said earlier, Mike, Aaron Sheriff, a very promising younger player, Junior World Cup gold medalist in 2009.
I think that was the result, Simon, that Stampy was a fully fledged future Australian player, and it wasn't too long after that that he actually made the senior side.
Now the mat has been pushed a fair way up the rink, and that was a very accurate jack, almost right on the tee.
Nearly. That's the 2 metre mark. That little tee is 2 metre from the edge of the ditch. And if the jack happens to roll past that, they will respot it back to there, unless it goes into the ditch. If it happened to have rolled into the ditch, the jack would have been delivered back up the mat. Australia would have rolled it down, but Botswana would have had to go in first. You've often seen here within this tournament so far that you think, well, hang on, Australia won that end, why aren't they bowling first? But they can elect to give the mat away, as they call it, for a little bit of protection and also a little bit of tactics to be able to have that last bowl. Nice bowl here from Mark Berghofer. If we can just get in front, or just roll back.
Just roll back.
So you see a lot of teams will actually give the mat away.
Well, it does give them that very useful last bowl option.
Yeah, good bowl. Obi at the moment is getting up to the head on each occasion, and that's what his skip wants.
Just rolling on a little. Not bad though. Just
yeah, shot for shot at the moment, but that's a better bowl from Mark Berghofer. He reached the head. Good grass, just a half a yard of weight.
Yes, great bowl there from Obi Motladidi.
He's brought his A game today. He's played very, very well, and this is what the skips want. They want their leads to be able to produce that sort of bowling. Yeah, not too far away from Mark Berghofer either.
It's a great tradition in the men's pairs for Australia. Gold medalist at Commonwealth Games in 1990, Trevor Morris and Ian Shoeback. 1994, Cameron Curtis and Rex Johnson. And in 98, 3 games running, Brett Dupre and Mark Jacobson. So What a record that is in the men's pairs.
Well, Rex Johnson, as you mentioned there, is the current manager and coach of this particular team. Cameron Curtis, who played with Rex Johnson to win that gold medal, was the coach of the Australian team in Melbourne. So Paddles, as he's nicknamed. Oh, and another good bowl there from Pomelo Capabetsi. So Aaron Sheriff, a little bit of work to do here. He's playing with a little bit of pace. He wants to disturb that head. He's going to hit something. He's just opened it up slightly. While we're talking a fair bit about the Australians, we don't have a great deal of information about the Botswanians, do we?
Well, yes, I have to confess there isn't a lot on offer, except to say that I think there are about 24 athletes at these games from Botswana, and half of them are bowlers. So it's very much an important sport in Botswana, and football is the big game, I think, in Botswana. It's a very prosperous country down in southern Africa. Gained independent governments about 4 decades ago, and it's been sustained economic growth ever since. Some decent boxers as well from Botswana over the years. Kebapetsi drawing towards the end here of the third end. Botswana certainly holding the shot.
What Aaron Sheriff would love to do at the moment is be able to turn that black bowl of Obi Motladili out of the head and hold 2 shots. But he's 1 down at the moment, and this has got to work, and work really quickly. Well, it's not going to happen.
And that's just 1 for Botswana, but they're on the scoreboard, and that's 4-1 after 3 ends. Yeah, football very popular in Botswana. We mentioned earlier in the week that contract bridge has an unusual following in the country as well. Exclamation mark. And I suppose I mentioned last night, actually, during the match with the women's triples, that people have become much more aware of Botswana through the work of Alexander McCall-Smith and the #1 Ladies Detective Agency, which I don't know about in Australia, but they're hugely popular, best-selling books in the UK and Europe, and indeed there's been a television series as well, and that series is set in Botswana. And it's been a very charming stories.
You're a fountain of information, no doubt about it.
Font of knowledge, I think, is
Font of knowledge
is what you're looking for.
You've been going to bed too early. There has been no early nights here at the Lawn Bowls program, I can tell you. We get to cover 4 matches a day, with the first one starting at 9 o'clock Indian time, or New Delhi time. It's now about coming up to 20 past 9 in the morning. We have another session that begins at 12:30, and another session that begins at 4, rounding out the evening with a session at 7.
Still doesn't stop some of us hitting the bar fairly late on.
Well, you just need a nightcap, don't you, Simon? Botswana returning serve to Australia here after winning that end. Better bowls from Mark Berghofer. Up to the head on both occasions, putting the pressure right back on Botswana. Maybe Motladili would love to be able to get one in the mix with those 2 first bowls from Berghofer. And he's done that. In actual fact, he's nearly done. Yes, well, he's probably got shot bowl.
Yeah, it just rolled over, didn't it?
Get the outside of yours, you're getting plain, Jack's good.
So you can just hear the instructions there from Mark Berghofer, skipper Aaron Sheriff. A little bit wide. I think this one will end up on the bank. Just playing with a little bit of on weight. Just a little bit to the right as you look at it from there. Here it is, Motladillies. And that is superb bowling from the big man. Now he's done well. He skipped. Well, I hope. No, he's got a bit narrow. You can see where Kepler Betsy has got his foot. That's where he wanted the ball to come to the back of that to counter that one of Mark Burkhofer, the blue ball. You can see at the bottom of your screen, because he felt that Mark Burkhofer was going to continue to play with a little bit of weight. Or Aaron Sheriff, for that matter. He wanted one at the back of the head. Botswana playing well at the moment. And applying a little bit of pressure to the Australians. And that one's going to run away as well. And we've seen it earlier in the tournament where a lesser ranked team is playing a top team and they play out of their skins. And we actually saw an upset the other night where a team that was running second was beaten by a team that hadn't even looked like winning a game in the tiebreak.
And we saw Nui Island winning yesterday, was it, against New Zealand?
And you just need to be out of sorts a little bit, which seems to be the case for the Australian boys at the moment. And Botswana could take advantage. He's got a difficult situation here because he's holding shot. There's no real chance of drawing shot. If he could just disturb that blue bowl in between the two blacks, and that was a good call there from Obi. If he could just knock Mark Burkhofer's bowl out, he could hold at least 3, if not 4. There's the overhead. So if he can just run that blue bowl out. He's not 100% confident that he can do that, though, but he's going to have a crack at it.
Well, he had a good think about it. Will it turn? Here it comes.
I don't think it's got the legs, has it? It's coming to the head now. I tell you what, it's a gallant attempt. Oh. If it rolls the other way, well, he's probably got 2 shots. That's a fabulous bowl.
That was spot on there, wasn't it, from Kebapetsi?
It's provided a bit of a target for Aaron Sheriff, though.
Is that going to turn down? He needed
deflection.
Needs a win.
Well, he took one out. Probably the best result there for the Australians. There's Kebapetse's bowl, and he only needed that roll. He was holding 2 there at that stage. He's going to come and have a look at this because he's got 1 bowl to go. Again, if he could just happen to roll that blue bowl, which is just to the right of the jack, out, he could hold 3, if not 4. It's a big end for Botswana. Or he could totally mess it up, hit the black bowl, and the jack ricochets to the Australian bowl and gives shot away. So it's a tough call. He has the option here of not playing his last bowl if he doesn't want it.
Might not get too many opportunities like this, though, to grab 4 shots.
Interesting. Sorry, Simon. He's had another look too, whether he can come the forehand side and come between those 2 front bowls as you look at it here. That way he could probably protect the jack on his own bowl instead of going for the glory shot, which may just happen to spring the jack forward. And the Aussies have got a couple of bowls there that may come into account. Yeah, he's going to... Yeah, well, I think he's thrown it away.
It's never going to come back.
Yeah, I think he got a case of tennis elbow there and said, no, I think discretion's the better part of valour. We're holding the 1, we'll take the 1.
Yeah, probably just in the too difficult tray there. 4-2. The African nations well represented in the Lawn Bowls tournament. South Africa, Swaziland, Botswana, Namibia, Malawi, South Africa very much the strongest team of that list in these men's pairs. They top this section.
Yeah, they've got a very strong team overall, Simon. Their men's triples team is a very strong team. That's up towards the lead of that competition.
Botswana in this section and Malawi in section B are the teams that are really struggling to make an impression, with both well over 100 shots against.
In actual fact, just going back to what I said a moment ago and having a look at the standings of the women's pairs, the women's triples, South Africa head Section A in both those competitions, and in the men's triples, they head Section A in that. So, and they are heading this one here. They really are having a wonderful Commonwealth Games. Now, the top team in each section will actually go through automatically through to the semi-finals. The next two teams, the second and third qualified teams, will go through to the semi-final playoffs. Abi Motladili will want to improve on his first effort. And you would have to say marginally. Yeah, better bowl from Mark Berghofer on that occasion, reaching the head. His grass is pretty good.
Now the changeover between the leads and the skips. Mark Berghofer is described as the quiet achiever of the Australian team. A little bit deceptive, tremendous drive to succeed, and a foil for Aaron Sheriff as lead in the pairs. Aaron Sheriff, one of Australia's most skillful players.
It's almost Laurel and Hardy proportions, isn't it?
Well, let's hope it's not another fine mess.
Australia holding a couple. Yeah, wise play by Aaron Sheriff to switch to the backhand side here after that last bowl from Kebabetsi.
I wonder how these two Aussie boys would enjoy being compared to Oliver Hardy and Stan Laurel.
Just in stature.
Not in character.
A very, very good bowl there from Kebabetsi, but in the scheme of things, he's probably given Australia 3 shots there. There he is, just getting a little wick on it. Definitely 2, you would think, maybe. Well,
there could be a few there.
Yeah. And Aaron Sheriff now a chance to really make that hurt. So Kebabetsi still has a chance of getting out of jail here. There's plenty of room to draw inside that, and you saw the big foot of Abi Motladili giving in the line. He can leave it there if he wants.
Certainly 2 to Australia.
Just going to run through, I think. It has. Well, there's a definite 2 there. You would take those 2 out, the 2 dark blue bowls together. They're going to have a look at any extras. A little measure here from Mark Berghofer.
I think
a little bit unfortunate there from Keba Betsy. It was a good bowl. The jack just didn't roll the way for him. And he's turned it over. A fair advantage to Australia.
Going for 3. Berghofer suggesting 3, and the Botswanans happy to agree with that. And so Australia extending their advantage here, and it's 7-2 now after 5 ends. Going very much as we expected so far, Mike.
With a little bit of pressure being applied by Botswana, though, and you wouldn't say that the Australians have played extremely good bowls. I think it's been a bit of a struggle for them. And maybe, again, it's that psychological aspect where you turn up, you think, well, this is going to be a reasonably easy match. Let's get this one done and dusted. However, the Botswanan boys have played some very, very good lawn bowls, and they put some pressure on the Australians. And that last end, if Keba Betsy had have been able to rest that bowl, well, it would have been really interesting, because that would have given them 3 ends in a row. But as it was, turned it over, and Aaron Sheriff drew that last one, which was a good bowl, and they grabbed the 3. That's a very, very good bowl from Motladilly. Beautiful bowl. Now, Brett Wilkie wants... Brett Wilkie, different match. Mark Berghofer had to reach the head there. Here's the replay from Motladilly's opening bowl. Rest the jack, absolutely beautiful. And Berghofer was very keen to get one at the back of that, which he did. That's what his skip needed.
Change a lot, mate.
Motladilly replies. Because the only way that jack can move is to the bottom of your screen.
And it's adjacent to the tee, so there's not a great deal of ground between the jack and the ditch.
Yeah, 2 metres. He's going to just try and disturb it. That it is. So now we've got a nickname for Mark Berghofer. It's Casper.
Explain.
Casper the Ghost.
Oh, I see.
Wouldn't get too much of a suntan, Mark Berghofer. Oh, and he nearly got a wick on that too. Often those in Australia who have a fair complexion get that nickname. Has he pulled off Aaron's instructions? Not quite.
Looks like he stays well out of the sun.
It's quite deceiving here in New Delhi too. We haven't had really clear skies the whole time we're here, but many people around the stadium have been lathered in suntan, because you can get seriously burnt.
You slipped and slapped and slopped this morning?
Slip, slap, slop. And the other ingredient that you need here in New Delhi is plenty of the Aerogard.
Well, I think they've been using a lot of insecticide around the complex, actually, because we haven't really had a mosquito problem, not in my experience in the evenings. 1 or 2 of the commentators have been saying there have been mozzies around, but what we have had are a lot of moths. That was a good bowl there from Sheriff.
if Aaron Sheriff can take that black bowl out with one of his next two, unless Kebabetsi, of course, puts one in there, Australians could hold quite a few here. Kebabetsi might have something to say about that. He would love to trail this Jack through. Can he get a wick? He has. He's just disturbed his own bowl fractionally as well, but he's taken one of the Australian bowls out.
Sheriff's final bowl. Is it his last bowl?
No, he's got one more, I think.
One more.
Now he wants to just knock that black bowl or rest inside it for shot. Having a fair think about it, Pamela Kebabetsi. He's skinny on this occasion, or he's playing with a little bit of weight. Yeah, he didn't. It never looked online.
You played it so well, mate. You beat the black head, touch on it's good.
A little touch on that red disc bowl to the right of the jack here would be the shot for Sheriff.
He doesn't want to take his own out, though. And it just rolled the wrong way for him. So you would think Australia probably holding two. Or
it's 2 or 3.
He's going to have a measure. Yeah, that black bowl's probably a little bit more forward than we think.
Yeah, it might only be 1, actually. It's going to be a tight measure here.
Yeah, they're not even going to measure the... Or are they? Yeah. No, they're just going to settle with that.
So there's our marker, confirming 2 shots to Australia. Making it 9-2 now in this first set.
And our marker is KK Chaudhary.
Special K. The mat fairly well up the rink here. Be another shortish end, shortish jack.
Well, this could go all the way. No, it's going to stay, so it'll come back to the 2.
Yeah, we had an occasion yesterday where the player bowling down the jack bowled it too long and into the ditch. It then transferred to the opponents, but the opponents still retained the right to play last. Good bowl from Mark Berghofer.
Yeah, he's starting to get his range, Simon.
St John's Park, New South Wales. Can you just give us the location?
Sydney suburb.
Okay.
Yeah, in the western suburbs. Yeah, good reply there too from Montladilli. They really have become a very, very professional club, attracting some of the best bowlers in the world to come and play with them.
And do the bowlers at a club like that, do they get a bit of sponsorship? How does it work? Yeah,
the club looks after them. There is a wage factor. And they will represent the club in many tournaments right around the world. There's many tournaments in Australia, big money tournaments. I don't know how many club Saturday afternoon fixtures they would play, but some are employed as bowls coordinators, bowls coaches, but they represent the club playing all around the world. Yeah, 3 good bowls from Mark Berghofer, giving his skip plenty to work with. Yeah, just one at the other end.
Skips returning towards the mat. Aaron Sheriff and Remy Kebapetsi. And another strong setup here for the Australians. Kebapetsi might just want to disrupt those 2 Mark Berghofer bowls to the right of the jack, but that's way too wide and way too strong.
Yeah, he's just stuck that in the ditch. That's a poor effort. Directly in front of us.
Aaron Sheriff needs to turn in, but that's a pretty good bowl. In fact, it takes the 4th shot by the look of things.
He's improved the position this time. Will it sit for him? Well, he's cut it down by 2 shots anyway at this stage.
Yes, it doesn't want to roll over that bowl. It's a little bit of an angle.
Now, Aaron Sheriff will go at the head again, and if he could just roll that dark bowl while he's... It needs to work for him. He wants to play off his own bowls, but it's not going to work for it. Can it sit? And he needed a roll, but it just didn't roll for him at that. I think he was after that red disc bowl there to be able to turn that out, and he would have been sitting 5.
Again, if you can just take out those 2 Berghofer light blue bowls to the right of the jack, or maybe even draw it. Good try.
Oh, that's a great bowl. That's a great bowl indeed.
Pretty close.
Great effort by Kebapetsi there. But Aaron Sheriff still has this advantage of playing the last bowl.
Pass that.
He wants to just rest on that red disc bowl or draw the shot brilliantly like that from Aaron Sheriff. Great shot. That'll be the shot bowl, the last bowl of that particular end. Now, it's fairly close for the others. For the man from Halikalani with the deft touch, drawing the shot. It could be 3 in this.
Yeah, there we go. 3 blue lollipops. So that takes Australia on to 12-2 after 7 ends.
Yes, Botswana need to win this one now. 12-2, the Australians lead with 2 ends to play. And Botswana need multiple score in this next end. That's one of our umpires, Graham Gibbons from Colville Town in Leicestershire in England. The umpires will officiate on all rinks on this green. There are 4 matches in play, in session. So if a rink requires an umpire, there's Graham at this particular end, and we have an umpire, which is Joan Brotherton at the other end. And you can just see her right up the other end there, just moving down the light blue shirt. Fairly short there from Obi Motladilly. So the pressure reasserted by the Australians certainly coming to the fore now. In sectional play in the Commonwealth Games, all the matches are played out to the full 9 ends. But once, and that's a great bowl from Obi Motla-Dilly. Inch perfect. All games are played out. Once we get to the elimination, if a team has enough shots to be able to win the set, irrespective of how the next end would pan out, then they don't play that extra end. But here, because it can come down to sets won, sets drawn, and also shot difference, all the 9 ends are played out. Here is Motla-Dilly's bowl, and a great reply by Obi.
And it's a morning of pairs. Looking across the rink, it's, all pairs games. The adjoining rink to this one, the England pairs team are playing.
The singles starts in a couple of days' time, so it's been a bit of a sit around and wait scenario for all the singles players, but their tournament will happen from the 9th to the 13th.
I'm looking forward to the singles.
Yeah, it'll be very, very good. There's some great bowlers from right around the world. The Malaysians are very, very strong. The young Malaysian lady is chasing her 3rd gold medal in a row, and she is just an extraordinary bowler. They're very, very well coached, and of course that is Siti Salina Ahmad, and she's chasing her 3rd gold. The Malaysians are performing very, very well, and are a strong contender in many of the divisions. The 3 blue bowls, all of Mark Berghofer. Aaron Sheriff would probably be having a look at that black bowl close to, there's our target, and you can see Botswana holding 1 by a fair way at the moment. Aaron Sheriff will probably try to displace that bowl. Yeah, very short from Kepabetsi.
So here's Sheriff. Can he disrupt that bowl next to the jack? Or just try and draw it? Will it come round?
Even if he trails the jack through, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that would have been the shot, wouldn't it? Trail that jack through.
But
could have made it 4.
Kepabetsi's now got to throw some cover in there, Simon. Otherwise, with his 2nd and 3rd attempts, Aaron will draw that shot back, and Australia will be sitting 4. Well, there you go. Luck's a fortune.
That's one way of doing it.
But I don't think it'll do. Well, he's having a bit of an on-shot here with a bit of pace.
A lot of pace.
Well, he's taken 2 out. Have a look at that. Draws the shot, runs through. Australia sitting 4. So there are different ways of achieving the result. Probably not the classical way that he wanted to do it, but Australia now sitting 4. Here it is. Cannons into that front blue bowl of his own and projects that forward. Australia sitting a minimum of 4.
That's a good result, wasn't it?
Yeah, Kepabetsi, this bowl is just so important. And I think it's running out of legs, just cutting across the face, is going to miss everything. Just rolls it up. May have limited the damage by 1, but Aaron Sheriff will now try and draw the extra shot. And it just runs through.
Just needed a bit of contact with something there, but a strong end. I think Mark was saying 3 for the Blues.
3 for the Blues, and that's the first set. 15-2, an unassailable lead to Australia.
15-2, and Australia have won the last 4 ends with 3 shots, 2 shots, 3 and 3. So they're really dominating here. And only a maximum of 6 shots can be garnered by any side in a single end. So it's a hopeless task for Botswana, but all the ends are played because of the shot difference factor. in these sectional games. So they will complete this ninth end. Won't have any effect at all on the outcome of the set, except the scoreline.
There's Joan Brotherton from Redland in Queensland. And the umpires have been very, they haven't been called into play too much. A couple of times to measure whether the jack has travelled the required distance. But outside of that, the occasional measure here and there. But very, very important in the scheme of things. Botswana everything to do here, Simon. They were totally outplayed in that first set.
Yeah. It's really going to form. You were talking there about the St John's Park bowling club, and it seems to be a very well organised structure. And my impression of a lot of the sport in Australia is that it's very well organised, very professional, well funded as well.
Yeah, well, with poker machines and all those sorts of things, they certainly do provide a great amount of income. I think one of the scenarios that has happened in Australia is that a lot of the smaller clubs who don't have the infrastructure of clubs like St John's Park, unfortunately have gone by the wayside. Would have just a smaller membership base, haven't been able to maintain or upkeep their greens, and it is frightfully expensive to be able to do that. And the clubs that may have gone to some synthetic rinks while maintaining a grass surface have probably survived. Clubs like Raymond Terrace, where Natasha Van Eldick, the young lead for the women's pairs here at the Commonwealth Games, comes from. But yes, very well organised, very well managed, and it just seems, and I suppose it's a state in life where the bigger clubs seem to get big and the smaller clubs, it makes it more difficult for them. And you will find that some of the smaller clubs will have been bought by the St John's Parks, the Penrith Leagues clubs. Those sorts of clubs have gobbled up some of the smaller clubs.
I remember a few years ago on a visit to the Sydney area, going to one of those leagues clubs, and as somebody who's I'd never seen facilities like it at a leagues club. It was almost paradise for a sports fan or any active person, because you had the gymnasium, great pool, poker machines, you could bet on the horses, full bar, restaurant. In England, we don't have that sort of thing, and it just, I can think of a few people that would never leave the place.
At the same time, and it's within their taxation rules and whatever, they have got to provide a certain amount of money to community aspects, because they're a non-for-profit organisation, believe it or not. So they return so much to,
drive here.
As Kepper Betsy has a drive to try and split those up, and he's done that superbly. Botswana holding at least one. Great drive by Kepper Betsy, always online.
Just a shame that it won't have any great significance on this first set. 15-2, just in the final stages here.
They do return a lot to the community, and which is fantastic. But the facilities, as you mentioned, are just, in some of the clubs, extraordinary. I know from where I come from, West Leagues Club, for instance, have two clubs, Club Phoenix or West Mayfield and West Leagues Club. Their gymnasium, the Newcastle Knights, who are a National Rugby League team that play out of there, have a special gym and built, and it's all within the one facility. The 50-metre swimming pool, the whole box and dice. It's just an extraordinary complex.
I think you benefit, or these clubs benefit. I know they're it's non-profit making, but having this looser or more flexible gambling legislation, for example, in England, there's no betting in pubs, no betting in clubs. You need licenses, which aren't easy to get. We just have betting shops, high street betting shops, and consequently, a lot of sport is not really benefiting from the huge amount of interest in betting on sport. I know in the business I'm in the horse racing business, how it really needs to change if it's ever going to be properly funded.
Very true. That might have been a little bit of a tragedy there for Kebabetsi, who'd played such a beautiful bowl before. He just rolled the Mark Berghofer bowl out. Aaron Sheriff now trying to draw the shot and take any measurement out of it, and that's not too far away. And there is the one at the 9 o'clock mark, which is there as well. So they're just having a look at it now. Kebabetsi has one to go. Oh no, in actual fact they're going for a measure now. I thought that was the end. So they're having a look at that one, which is a Botswanan bowl. Mark Berghofer has been pretty busy with the tape.
He's probably the player amongst them who's most able to get down there to perform the measuring, looking at the others.
I'm glad you said that.
They might never get up. Anyway, that's 2 to Australia and a runaway win in the first set, 17-2. Little short of an annihilation there. And it's going to take some change in the tide for Botswana to come back at them in the second set.
Our World Cup heroes are back to play on home soil.
New Zealand lead!
Dogged Kiwi tenacity meets the unpredictability of Central American flair. The ASB International Series, all rights Honduras. Saturday, live Sky Sport 2.
October's Skywatch Commonwealth Games Special Edition with 16 extra pages of listings, plus entertainment highlights, this month's recipe, competition, sport and movie guides and daily listings. October Skywatch, out now.
So we begin set number 2, and the Botswanan lead, Obi Motladili, sending down the jack. Fairly long jack, centered by Aaron Sheriff.
Yeah, very comprehensive performance by the Australians. They didn't have one end where they didn't get more than the one shot. We mentioned through our telecast this morning that heading this Group A or Section A is South Africa, who at this stage hadn't dropped a set. They're in danger of dropping a set. They're playing Papua New Guinea, who are running 4th in the Section A competition, only 2 points behind South Africa, and they're going into the last end, and Papua New Guinea are leading by 3 shots. A couple of loose bowls, those 2 front bowls by both leads to open the second set with this men's pairs.
Much better there from Motladidi, Mark Berghofer, with his second bowl.
An update on that score, it's gone out to an even bigger lead. They're in the 9th end, and Papua New Guinea lead 10 shots to 5.
Oh, if it just rolled over, it might have got close to taking it. It may even be the closest. Just talking about sports betting there, Mike, would there be a lot of betting interest in Australia on these bowls matches?
I don't know whether there is actual betting on the Commonwealth Games. I can't answer that one, Simon, but I know that in recent times, yes, you have been able to, the Premier League, which is a competition in Australia, the TAB or TAB Sports Bet have been able to run betting markets on lawn bowls, but I'm not 100% certain, so sorry I can't answer you regarding the Commonwealth Games. But if there was an opportunity, you can bet your bottom dollar that there would be some money changing hands.
It's certainly a bit of a hot topic at the moment with some of the Asian betting syndicates and allegations of match fixing and And Bowles was slightly touched by a betting, I won't say scandal, I think that's putting it too strongly, but there were some Kiwi bowlers who were alleged to have thrown an end.
Well, I don't know whether there was money involved. What they did there was, and I think they were seriously sanctioned for it, was the fact that they threw a set to get one team tipped out of the competition and promote another team. So they thought the other team was a real threat. So they thought, well, hang on, if we lose this set or this match, they're out, which happened. But I can't answer the fact either whether there was money that changed hands. But I think there was a suspension of 3 months or something like that did take place. But yeah, unsavoury in some aspects. Aaron Sheriff just trying to turn his own bowl over. Probably that shot bowl now. But again, any sport, and there's betting involved, lends the less scrupulous to be able to exploit it somewhere along the line.
Well, with the opening of so many different forms of betting, markets, spot betting, just seen with the cricket matches involving Pakistan in Britain, you can almost bet on any aspect of a game. And the officials need to be very vigilant.
I'm just wondering whether here you could say, well, and bet on Aaron Sheriff's second bowl is going to be a toucher. If that's the sort of thing you're talking about with the no balls with Pakistan and whatever.
Yeah, the bet isn't actually on the no ball at that particular time. What it does is it shifts the market. It moves the market, which keeps the turnover going.
Well, he's opened it up there. Again, that black bowl, which is Obi Motlidilli's, just to the left of the jack. If Kepabetsi can't close this up, then Aaron Sheriff will try and run that bowl out and Australia would be sitting 3. Well, that was interesting because Motlidilli had said, well, if you come in this way, draw it, because there was all the Botswanan bowls to the left of the jack, and all he's done is given the shot away, and he's given Aaron Sheriff now a real cider on being able to take that. The shot was coming in on the backhand to try and trail the jack over to those 3 red disc bowls that you can see to the left of the jack. And that's the way that Motlidilli indicated, and he went the forehand. Bit surprising.
Well explained there, Mike. Yes, you can see that. Heavily weighted to the left of the jack. The red bowls, that was never getting there from Sheriff.
Well, it's a definite 1. They're looking at 3. A nod of the head from Motlidilli.
Yeah,
or no, they're having another look at it.
No, they're settling on 3. And a solid start for Australia in this second set.
This is where the experience comes into play at international level. The amount of competition that Mark Berghofer and Aaron Sheriff would have been able to glean from top international competition gives them that added extra experience, even though they're quite young. But getting into situations never seems to faze them, and just being able to play the right tactics. I think it was a perfect opportunity for Botswana there, if it could have been affected, to be able to get multiple shots. Or put the pressure on Aaron Sheriff to draw something or do something spectacular with his last. Team talk. Team talk.
So, what do you think they're talking about? What are they gonna? What's their ploy? What's for dinner tonight?
I thought he was poking him in the chest there for a moment, saying, come on, lift your game. I think Obi Motlidilli hasn't played too badly.
Was that a telling off?
No, I don't think so. I hope not, anyway. He doesn't look too upset, the big fella. And let's face it, you wouldn't argue with him.
No, you wouldn't mess with Obi.
A gentle giant.
Let's hope Botswana can just make this respectable in this second set. There's a good weight there. The match last night involving Scotland and Botswana, it was a difficult game for Scotland, not in that they would always have been expected to beat Botswana, but they were playing back-to-back. They went from one game to another. The previous match against India had run on a little bit. They had very little time between games, and it is a very busy schedule, and they just looked a little bit jaded. It was the last match of the night. They looked tired, and I'm sure that contributed to their perhaps slightly below par performance, and that's got to be a factor, hasn't it? The actual scheduling.
No doubt about that. And what seems to happen here in New Delhi is that it's quite pleasant conditions now. Yes, it's warm and we're in shorts and polo shirts. You're not, well, of course the English are dressed in long pants, tweeds, whatever, but...
Smoking jacket.
The 4 o'clock session and the 7 o'clock session are very, very warm. It's still 34, 35 degrees at 7 o'clock. Now, the game that I had last night between England and Wales went into a tie-break and only had 10 minutes to get from their rink, which was rink 21 out the back, to rink 1 and go straight into a match against England. And in the end, you could tell that they were just jaded.
Nice bowl there from Obi.
But they've got to get through. The scheduling, once they get down to the elimination rounds, will ease fractionally. But while the scheduling eases, the tension, the pressure becomes greater. That's what makes it such a great competition, of course, lawn bowls being the epitome for... Oh, that's a great bowl from Mark Berghofer. Right on the jack. It's the epitome for lawn bowls, the greatest competition, as we watch that replay from Mark Berghofer. There are world championships and world singles championships, pairs, triples, fours, but the Commonwealth Games, this is the Olympics for lawn bowls.
Given the heavy schedule, there are practice rinks here. I wonder how much time these players are actually spending on those practice rinks if they've got a couple of matches a day. I mean, a golfer will go and stand on the range for an hour or two, possibly after playing his round, but maybe it might do more harm than good in these temperatures particularly.
The only practice that these players would have now are the 2 warm-up ends. The scheduling again is very heavy.
He was trying to just disrupt some of those Australian bowls there.
Yeah, I think probably Australia are only holding 1 at the moment, and Aaron Sheriff now trying to put 1 around the back to counter for the fact that he thinks that Pomelo Kepabetsi may have another drive, and he's not happy with himself. Australia are only holding 1 at the moment. And this time he's played a more of a running shot, hoping to pick up that blue bowl. He's done it. Great bowl. And Botswana holding 1. Great bowl.
Sheriff attempting to draw. It's just sliding away.
I think you'll see his next attempt. There is the bowl. It was a beautiful bowl. Instead of the full-blooded drive, it was a running shot and affected perfectly. Now he's left that wide, which gives Aaron Sheriff a real good sider on that black bowl just to the left of the jack as you're seeing it on your screen. If he can take that out, Australia hold 2. At least if his bowl sits, they'll hold 3. He's not far away.
With pace.
He's done it. Great bowl, Aaron Sheriff. Skipper picks up a couple. The lad for Halikalani on fire. Here it is. Bang. Good sider. Kepabetsi needed to cover that with his last bowl, and he left it way wide, and Aaron Sheriff just picked it off fairly easily.
There's a measurement. That was clinical bowling, wasn't it, from Aaron Sheriff there?
It might only be the 1. Yep.
So Australia extend their lead, but only slightly. After 2 ends of the second set, it's 4-0.
Here we've had an hour and 10 play. there's been some very good bowls in this, and of course quite a few loose deliveries, but Australia certainly on top, and just being given the opportunity of being able to play the shots they need to play.
Some decent matches coming up on this rink later on today. Wales and India.
Now we've seen this situation. I was casting an eye at the scoreboard, but I think what's happened here is that Botswana may have rolled the jack off the green. Yes, that's happened then. That was the scenario we were talking about before. The jack goes back up the green. Australia roll it to what length they want to roll it, but Botswana have got to go in and bowl the first bowl. So advantage Australia. And Obi Motladilly didn't react to that terribly well. It's left that one very short. Yeah, very good bowl from Mark Berghofer. Yeah, good correction from Motladilly. Past the jack. Just needs to take off half a metre of grass.
Drifting
and
away.
I don't know where Mark Berghofer was going with that one. It's his loosest bowl of the match.
Good try.
That's beautiful bowling. Motladilly, after that first bowl, really has come back very strongly. His correction of the grass and weight was absolutely spot on then. Great camera work. Mark Berghofer replies. So I think this is what the lead for Australia needs, is someone to play well against him. Of course, they have their own little battles here. The leads have their battle, the skips have their battle. Mark Berghofer replying with a very good bowl, that third bowl. Here it is, just coming in now. Just gets in front of Motladilly's bowl. Little kiss on the jack. Thanks for coming.
Could take it out, and he does so.
Botswana holding two. Beautiful bowl from Kepabetsi. Can Aaron Sheriff reply?
Oh,
He can.
some great bowls being played here, Mike.
It's an exhibition in draw bowling. Just coming in, taps the bowl of Kepabetsi and rests the shot. Beautiful bowl. Now, can Kepabetsi do it? Not this time. Changes to the forehand side.
Yeah, Mark Berghofer suggesting we just split the two red disc bowls he'd be good. The weight's not quite there. It's still not far away, though.
Far away. And it's going to be narrow again.
Under the line. Just knocks the Sheriff's bowl on.
Study of concentration from Motladilly. Either that or resignation.
Looks like 1 to Australia.
Yeah, won't run on. He's cannon into the Mark Berghofer bowl, so I think they'll settle with 1.
And Australia advance further. That's 5-0 after 3 ends, and Botswana played pretty well in that end. There were some excellent bowls there from the 2 Botswana boys, but just unable to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, I don't think Kepabetsy's playing his best at the moment. He's played some wonderful bowls, but when he's really needed to throw in a blocker or draw the shot, he hasn't been able to do that, allowing Aaron Sheriff to almost play his own game. And we saw that with the previous end going this way, where Kepabetsy had the shot with the jack right close to the ditch, but he didn't provide any cover whatsoever with his last bowl. It was an easy meet for Aaron Sheriff to be able to take out, and Australia end up with a shot. So he needs to just lift his game a little bit. I think Motladilly is playing pretty well. At least one of the 3 bowls, if not 2 on each end, he's getting around the mark, as is this one. Just a bit short. It's a good shot there of Mark Berghofer's action and his study of concentration.
Yes, he swings his arms a couple of times in a pendulum-like manner for releasing the bowl.
Yeah, a little bit reminiscent of Stuart Amy from England, who does the same sort of thing just to get the arm going. And you'll see when we go back to Mark Berghofer in a moment that he'll have his left arm just touching Airy, I should say, Stuart Airy. Here it is. The left arm just goes there for a little bit of stability and direction. Stuart Airy last night.
Played well, didn't he?
Oh, extraordinary. It was a one-man show. Great bowl. He's just going to cut across the face. He might be able to promote his own bowl. Got a little bit of a wick, but no, not the 3 best that we've seen from Obi Motladilly.
There's that pendulum again. Away it goes. Forehand. Again, just dipping inside a little, but springs his other bowl a little bit closer to the jack.
Just having a look at Mark Berghofer's action. It's fairly uncomplicated. Gets his arms moving. There's Aaron Sheriff on shot. The big man breaking into a trot. I haven't seen too many lawn bowlers pull a hamstring. Give her Betsy. Oh. Well, he didn't do any damage there, and probably in some ways provided that backwood as a little bit of cover fortuitously.
Sheriff's bowl already on its way. Doesn't hang about. That was a good one.
Yeah, he's going to trail this through. Has he got enough to hold shot? Yes, he has. Probably not exactly what he intended, but the result was okay.
We've got second shot. This is our second.
He's just trying to get through that pack and promote one of his own. Oh, and he's a little bit stiff there. That was on track to hit that red disc bowl just up above the jack. That was very, very stiff. Great attempt.
Yes, he just didn't need that touch, did he?
Yeah, this is a pretty smart bowl from Aaron Sheriff. Just trying to get to the head. In actual fact, I think he was just trying to get past that. But it provides a little bit of a gap here.
No real change.
Give it a go.
Backhand this time.
He's got plenty to get around.
Right round a lot of them.
If he can get on it, no, it's going to be too heavy. I think what he was trying to do there, oh, it's just coming in late, but they'll settle for one. So Australia, Simon, in this set, not really setting the world on fire. They're just doing enough to get across the line. They've won the opening 4 ends. They had a 3 to start with, and then they've had 3 singles, but they lead comprehensively. 17-2, 6-0.
And Botswana have only managed to win 2 of the 13 ends in the match. This is that action we were talking about of Mark Berghofer. Very straight arm.
The right knee tucked in behind the left calf.
We've seen a whole range of actions. Does that look like a coached action to you?
Yeah, very much so. So I think we were saying on the first day that if you had a roving camera and were able to go around and put a tape together of all the different actions.
There was a guy called Wayne Perry we were watching the other evening, trying to work out how he got it away, but he's obviously an excellent bowler.
And Jason Greenslade from Wales last night would tuck the bowl way behind his back in the reverse, if you like, and then come out, and it was a real flick. But it works for him, and I think that's the thing with lawn bowls. If it works for you, don't change it. Here's a good bowl from Mark Berghofer.
Dribbling on.
Nice touch by Motladilly.
The nearby athletics stadium coming to life. A few early events taking place. The England girls on the next rink, playing Papua New Guinea. Won their first set impressively.
And a very young side, the England side as well.
In fact, I think they're going to back up it's women's triples team.
A good position there for Mark Berghoff, a couple behind the head. Plenty of space for both skips.
Yes, we'll be seeing those English ladies a bit later on.
I shall look forward to that.
They're a good side. They are playing South Africa. Next match up on Rink 1. And you and I will be there to see it.
Exposed to the heat of the midday sun. While the other commentators that we have with us, David Bobin and David Corkill, can stick on the alarm slippers and head to the comfort of the grandstand.
Yeah.
Beautiful bowl here from Aaron Sheriff. That's 4 shots to Australia holding there at the moment. But Mark Berghoff will put those bowls in good position, beautifully trailed through by Aaron Sheriff. Here it is. Just got enough on it. Great bowl. A little bit of pace. He's not far away.
Oh, just through the gap. Sheriff almost immediately into action. His bowl were already on its way down.
Could make it more difficult. You would love it to stop right there, but it's not going to, but it's going to be another shot.
It certainly is.
But it's probably put it in a good enough position that if he has a drive and he's elected a very, very light running draw, because that jack now, well, it's just been disturbed a little bit, but it's run on, so Australia would think probably still holding 5. And this is the last shot. This could be maximum shots for Australia.
It's a big target for Sheriff if he gets the pace right. This one's just rolling on a little.
It's in the count, though.
Yeah.
There's a definite 5. Yeah,
There's
maybe 6.
There's an argument over the 6th. Out on the wings there. Yeah, those two are good as well. And now a measure. Oh, we've got 4 definite.
Well, that's inside that one.
Yep.
Yeah, well inside that one.
Yeah.
So that'll be 5.
That's 5. And probably another measurement for the 6th.
No, they don't settle for that, I think.
Don't be greedy. Yep. So 5 blue lollipops. And so that's 11 now to Australia.
And no let up in tactics here either, Simon. I thought maybe at one stage they might have retained the mat just to see, and they were in a position to experiment fractionally. But no, keeping the pressure on, because it could very well come down to point differential or shot differential in the end. That going straight through to the semi-finals is the huge thing. You win that semi-final, you're straight through to the gold medal game. If you finish 2nd or 3rd in your group, you've got to go through the semi-final playoff before you get to the semi-final. So, and that gives the players that break too. Now, given these conditions and the way, if you are in red-hot form, don't know whether the break, and it's always the conjecture whether it's football, if you go straight through to the grand final and you have the week off, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. So, but I think in this oppressive heat in New Delhi, that mightn't be a bad thing.
Just to repeat, Australia lying second in the table of the Section A of the men's pairs at the moment. South Africa haven't dropped a set.
Yeah, they've just... I had a look at that over there before, so I'm sorry to correct you that they did drop that first set to Papua New Guinea 11-5, and they're just ahead in the second set, 3-2. So that will be very interesting now, given the shot differential, which Australia were superior to South Africa only by 2 shots, whether they will leapfrog to first position. I should imagine on that scenario they probably will.
We're looking at the scores here. Yeah, there's going to be a huge shot difference here. Currently it is, in terms of shots, 28 to Australia and 3 to Botswana in this match. Berghofer's second bowl. Just going to run through beyond the jack, but stays on the green.
Dilly, his third and final of the 6th end. Might be able to promote his own bowl. He has done that, the shot bowl.
Have a look, mate. On your forehand, and get that onto there, him onto the jack. It's not a touch, it's good. Right through. Yep.
Just going back to that shot differential, Australia, as it stands now, have improved their shot differential from 71 to 92. South Africa started the day on plus 68. They dropped back to plus 63. So there has been a real shift in that shot differential. And taking the jack out now, and that one stays in. The jack is going to be... Oh, no, in actual fact, was it touches, so the jack stays... Oh, it's not out of bounds, so of course it stays in play. It's in the ditch. And we will see when we have a look up there just in front of the players, there is a little yellow marker on the bank. That will indicate to the players who are yet to bowl that's where the jack is in the ditch. It'll be a toss-up at the moment to... There it is. And no doubt about it, Botswana hold the shot with that black bowl there at the moment. We're about to see the boys try and draw this shot.
See that again, Gareth.
So Kebabetso. It's not a bad effort. Not a bad effort. But not into shot.
Sheriff right down on the mark. Looking to get this close to that yellow marker.
And it just dropped in, but that will give him a great sight for his next 2 deliveries. And this is tracking pretty well too. This looks like a very, very good bowl. Oh, just ran out of steam. Just ran out of steam. Gee, it was tracking well.
Sheriff trying again, just to hold it up on the green. Get that weight right. It's coming round. Hold on, hold on. Not sure.
You would think Botswana still holds shot.
Yeah, I counted. I'm gonna take it from the last one there, man.
Michael Dilly says, I'll just have a sit for a minute. Let you do the work. Tracking well again.
Going to run
Will
into
it
the
hold
ditch.
up? No. Aaron Sheriff, one final attempt to draw the shot.
Just needs to get a slightly tighter line.
And it's got to stop, but I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to dribble into the ditch.
Measuring tape out again. That's one we probably didn't consider there, Mike.
Yeah, it's Botswana. So the boys in blue get on the board in the second set.
But remain well behind. 11-1.
Let's have a look at this bowl here. Bang, cannons into the Mark Berghofer bowl. Jack in the ditch. Bowls go all over the place. And the jack ends up in the ditch. Because it's only respotted, of course, if it's out of bounds. I know what I was thinking. Not much, obviously.
Yeah, well, there were markers on either side of the rink to show the confines of the rink, and had the jack been pushed a bit in the ditch outside those confines, then it would have been respotted.
And on these synthetic surfaces, the ditch is actually synthetic, where a lot of the southern hemisphere players would be used to sand in the ditch, where the bowl or the jack doesn't move once it hits that area. We've seen it on a couple of occasions in the Commonwealth Games so far, that the bowl or the jack has hit the ditch and actually bounced out of play.
Well, some of these players can drive with such force that they get a good connection on the jack. It is simply propelled into the bank.
And I think we'll definitely see that in the singles. Ryan Bester from Canada is a renowned driver. And you don't want to be standing anywhere near the head when they drive. Just didn't quite get up there. Two good woods at the back. Yeah, and a great reply from Obi Motladilly.
Gets inside Berghofer's light blue bowl in front of the jack. The changeover.
I think that's possibly where Australia have dominated, and really they've dominated in all facets of this match, but Obi will get one close to the jack, but the other two are all over the place. And the leads have really got to give their skip something to work with. Mark Berghofer at least is, on most occasions, getting two behind the head. Allowing this bloke to weave his magic, Aaron Sheriff. And again, Australia in good position with those three blue bowls at the bottom of your screen. A trail of the jack through there in Australia, again, would hold multiple shots. Just run through. I think the Greens have quickened markedly since this morning, since we started play.
Yeah.
There's the wick from Aaron Sheriff, just nudges that bowl out. He won't mind playing onto his own bowl for his next shot either. Well, a little bit unfortunate there.
Decent try, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Try and move the jack.
Not too bad down here. This is just in front, but beat that off. Your slide past is good. Yeah.
So Aaron Sheriff switching to the backhand, just trying to nudge that Botswana bowl out. He's going to be skinny though, but he might get away with it. Not the bowl he wanted.
Australia lining them up here.
He's just... Yeah, well, he's cut down a couple there. That's not too bad. I think the option here now for... Oh, no, that was the last bowl, given the fact that Botswana had given the mat away.
And
Sorry
to
about that.
his signal.
Australia. Well, Australia will win the match because there's only 2 ends to play. There is a maximum of 12 shots on offer in either end for Botswana, and Australia lead by 12, so Botswana at the very best could draw the set, and I don't think that's going to happen. And Australia will, irrespective of what happens in the next 2 ends, win this match.
I'd have a pretty big bet that that wouldn't happen. With all due respect, a maximum in 2 ends. Oh, the odds would be astronomical based on what's gone before.
The Australians will be looking, though, to be able to finish off the match and be able to gain some more shots. They had a bit of an opportunity there to get a 3 or a 4, but settle with a 2.
Well, if maybe they can score another 2 shots in the next 2 ends, that'll take them up to their score in the first set of 17. I'd have a shot difference of 16 in the second set and a 14 in the first set, 30. Plus
Yeah,
30, be none too shabby.
No, which would put them over the plus 100 mark as far as the shot differential is concerned.
Berghoff up. It's right on line. Just grazes past the jack.
And just bringing you up to date with that Papua New Guinea-South Africa match. South Africa, as we mentioned, on top of this Section A. And Papua New Guinea have fought, they won the first set and fought back in the second set and are leading 5-3 after 6 ends. So there could be an upset on the cards here. Papua New Guinea are lying 4th in this competition. And they've played 4 and only lost 1, so they're a very good combination as well. Mark Berghoff quite wide on this occasion.
That needs to come back. Just looking across to Rink 1, England and Namibia, the men's pairs. England on the first set. Namibia fighting back in the second.
Well, Namibia can't lose the second set. They lead 8-2 at the end of the 8th end. Now, that would be a massive upset, given Merv King and Stuart Airy played so brilliantly against Wales last night. That's what's happening around us. We hope you're enjoying the coverage of the Lawn Bowls program for the 19th Commonwealth Games. Australia really handing out a little bit of a bowls lesson to Botswana at the moment. And this is probably the loosest end we've seen for some time. I think there is a fair bit of resignation on behalf of all players that the match is certainly done and dusted. Even Aaron Sheriff, his first bowl is well wide of the mark.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent, hasn't he?
That could very well be shot bowl. It is. So you would think from that shot that Botswana might hold a couple. Not going to have the legs to get up there.
Blocked out wide. Sheriff trying to draw it.
He's corrected the weight perfectly this time. Oh, it might have just slipped through, but I think it probably still will be one. Shot of the Australian managers.
Yeah.
And coaches.
Sheriff nicks it with the last bowl of the end. Just as Botswana looked like they might grab only their fourth end of the match. 14-1.
But it was a very loose end by all players. I think they'll be happy to get off the green. Both these sides back up again today. And Botswana play Niue Island. Well, they're back up straight after this. And Australia have another match in the men's pairs today as well. They play Papua New Guinea straight after this as well. And that'll be very interesting because Papua New Guinea at the moment, as we've mentioned a couple of times, just in front of the leaders of Section A, South Africa. So you would think for Australia it's going to be a much tougher match, the second match at 12:30, than the match against Botswana.
Straight back up could be as little. Well, they're going to finish. We're getting up towards 11 o'clock New Delhi time. They'd be due back on for a starting time of 12:30. So they'll have a break of about an hour and a quarter before they're required to be back at Rink side.
And a lovely opening bowl by Abi Motladili. And Mark Berghofer, a very good opening bowl as well. Just a half a metre behind the jack.
Botswana. Sorry, Mike. I was just saying Botswana also due to play again. They play Niue Island. And that'll be a bit of a battle of the also-rans. They're in the bottom two places in the table.
One team will have a win, though.
They will. It might not be a capacity crowd. But yes, it'll get one of the sides off the mark.
Yes, even here at the Lawn Bowls, if you wanted to rush down to the stadium, there's plenty of seats on offer. Yesterday we were able to count the crowd. Tracking well for Mark Berghofer. Yeah, lovely bowl. Lovely bowl indeed. Must have just got a little touch as we have a look at it here. There it is. You just saw the jack move slightly. Aaron Sheriff went over and gave it a spray, hence that white mark on Mark Berghofer's bowl.
It's a slightly surreal atmosphere, really, isn't it? Not too many spectators, very quiet here in the JN Sports Complex, but it's effectively a fortress surrounded by massive security.
Which we're not minding, by the way.
No, not at all. You feel absolutely safe as houses here. Had the old body search again this morning.
Aaron Sheriff has just trailed that through a very good bowl. Hold one. And again, just showing his superiority. He's played very well, Aaron Sheriff. He's probably been the player of the match. And the Botswanians haven't been able to counter the play from Australia. Just coming in, just taking it back a little. Oh, I thought he was going to pick it up and take it back, and they would have been holding a couple more. Kepper Betsy not wasting any time.
And you can bet that Aaron Sheriff won't either. That's just promoted that Australian bowl.
Yeah, well, if he...
Yeah, mate, I think back end. Get back to the jack as well.
Yeah, what you're saying there is if he can take that Botswana bowl out, they'll hold four if his bowl sits. The red disc bowl is the one in his sights. He's got him. Very well played. I think possibly three there for Australia, and wrapping this match up in comprehensive circumstances, improving on their first set result.
There we are. 3 shots in the last end for Australia, so they win that second set 17-1, and it was 17-2 in the first set, and a very one-sided match, you have to say.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The shot differential, 31 shots there, which gives them a shot differential now of 102. And they were expected to win that match, no doubt about that. Shaking hands with everyone. It's a very, very friendly game. For the Australians, totally dominant. That will possibly put them on top of their section, Section A. And but some tough matches to come. Their next match against Papua New Guinea will be tough. There is no doubt about that. They're playing very, very well at the moment. Botswana play Niue Island a little bit later on. Aaron Sheriff waving to the camera, and hopefully that they're taking the pictures back at the Halekulani Bowling Club, and they would be very, very pleased with the way that he has played.
Couldn't live more than 3 minutes from real coffee.
Love those wide open spaces.
In here as well as out there. It's hard to get to. Maybe why it's the best kept secret in town.
Don't tell anyone.
The all-new Street Smart Mitsubishi ASX, built for your city life.
Love that car.
18 Motown and Soul classics. Phil Collins and his band recreate the spirit and the style of these legendary tracks. Phil Collins, Going Back. It's out now.
Shaz your crack. Oh, Novus. Shaz your crack.
Oh, Novus.
Shaz your crack. Oh, Novus. When you find your vision lacking, Novus windscreen's for your cracking.
0810 35 35 is the number to call when you've got a crack in your windscreen, because that's the number for Novus windscreen repairs. So don't say no, say Novus. Phone 0810 35 35 and show Novus your crack.
When you find your vision lacking, Novus windscreen's for your cracking. Show us your crack. Ah, Novus.
Brother GST refund. From the 1st of October till the 17th, Brother will refund the GST paid on any Brother machine. We've absorbed the GST increase and have not increased our prices. You pay the GST, we refund it. So hurry in store and buy Brother before the 17th and claim back your GST via mail and redemption. We'll even pay in 10 working days from receipt, and that's guaranteed, or we refund the purchase price. Why pay more? Our prices haven't increased, and we refund the GST paid on all machine purchases. Offer is for a limited time.
Brother!
The Earth is flat. That thing will never get off the ground. Superheroes are only in comic books. Kiwis can't fly. Chickens can't dance. Jamaicans can't bobsled. You can't have a zero-sugar cola taste anything like real Coca-Cola. Coke Zero. It's possible.
Take my hand and I'll lead you back onto the other side. Get yourself into a better place and lift your life. Hold your head up high and don't rely on anyone else. Make it easier on yourself. Don't ask why.
Apex, I'm gonna need the car a little longer.
Sky Sports Ultimate Selections. October. Sky brings you extensive coverage of the World Rowing Championships from Karapiro. The Kiwis take flight in the Rugby League Four Nations, and the New Zealand Breakers return to the home of sport. November. The Aussies look for revenge against England in the Ashes series. The All Blacks end their tour to the north. Then in December, the IRB Sevens World Series kicks off in Dubai. Sky Sport, home of the ultimate fan.
We're at the quarter-final stage of the men's doubles here in the Commonwealth Games in Delhi 2010. It's a match between Australia and India. Matt Ebden and Greg Jones for Australia have elected to serve first against Rohan Bopanna and Somdev Devaman of India.
Service. Love.
Greg Jones will certainly feel as though he knows this surface and this court particularly well after his exertions earlier in the day against Ward in the singles.